ID, enjoy the game.
Thank you.
You got an ID? Have a good one. Hey, you got an ID? Southpaw. Not 21, man. Can't let you in. Come back on June 8th.
What's up, everyone? This is the BumCast presented by Windy City Sports Cards. I am your host, HBIC, the head bum in charge, along with just baloney. What the heck? We got. Where is everyone? Did they decided to take off today and not tell us? No work, no call, no show.
I was gonna ask you, does this remind you of our old school shows back when no one listened and it was just me and you talking to each other like we were on our couch? We haven't been a two-man pod in a long time.
Yeah. So Johnny is off this week. But Dougie, he is in Hawaii. He's taking one of his month-long sabbaticals. And this time he's in Hawaii. However, he will be joining us later. Live via satellite. Is that still a thing anymore in 2025? Live via satellite?
I think they're all satellites, Starlink and all those things. I think that's what we're going towards. But no, we were worried about his Honolulu internet compared to his typical Telemundo internet. Well, that's more Johnny than Dougie, but yeah. We did a little quick test run. It's working really good. It's probably the best he's ever looked. So you guys will get to see him in about 45 minutes or so. We got some nonsense to talk with Dougie. But first, we're going to talk White Sox with our guest, Jordan Lazowski. But Jason, how's your weekend?
Alcohol infused. We started weekend Saturday. We went to a nice little tequila tasting down in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it correctly. So tell me.
Oh, Sabor y Cultura. It was a tequila tasting at the Bridgeview Art Center. It was thrown by Sabor y Cultura. Our hermano Joey P, the tequila bum, invited us, and we said, let's just make this a bum outing, for work purposes, of course. That was research and development, what we were doing.
Little R&D.
Yeah, that was
some networking.
For science.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great event. I enjoyed myself. We got some pictures and videos coming out this week about it. But yeah, it was a good Saturday night. And you ran it back Sunday. I saw you were out and about all Sunday.
Yeah, do Division Fest all weekend, and that's one of my favorite street fests of the year. Do Division, West Fest, but I think now there's a lot of the good bars that we used to go to back in the day for Do Division aren't there anymore. So a lot of it's nostalgia, just still going down there. Get some live music, some good vibes, you go inside the bars, you got some DJs playing, beers flow, shots flow. So great weather too. So can't hate a street fest when it's nice weather in the summer.
I've been complaining about Chicago weather all spring, and we should be used to it, right? I say it like we've lived here long enough. We should be used to the crappy springs, but this one was particularly crappy. But this weekend was the first real weekend where it felt like, summer's inching its way here.
Summer's here.
Hopefully. Yeah, summer is here. I'm knocking on wood. I'm not even going to talk about the weather for next weekend. I just knocking on wood and saying it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. I was, going back to Saturday though with the tequila tasting, I was actually kind of nervous because those first couple pours that they did, they gave us a nice little tasting glass, and some of those pours were a little heavy-handed, ounce and a half of tequila, and I was like, I gotta tell these people, give me a nip. I wanted to try every single tequila there, and I'm like, if I do, I'm dead.
Yeah, no, you got to be real responsible, and like I said, everyone there, the event coordinators, the vendors, everyone was real friendly, excited to talk to everybody. They saw the Tequila Bum hats, they're like, "Oh, what is this?" And we say, "Oh, we do YouTube reviews." Everyone was awesome, but yeah, a lot of people, they wanted you to try the product, little heavy on the pours, so you got to pick and choose your battles. So we went in with the game plan that if you've tried that tequila before, we're just not going to try it, right? There's no point. And there's some really good tequilas. There's G4, Tequila Ocho, a lot of really good brands that we're like, nope, not trying it because we know what you're about already. And I think that was a smart way to go about it.
Yeah, and we had a cherry pick too, going up to someone like, do you want to do the Blanco, the Repo, the Anejo? Because, like, obviously you can't try all. You can't try all three. So, I would say it was probably like 30 vendors there.
I think it was closer to 40. Yeah.
So you figure you got that many vendors times 3 to 4 different offerings for tequila.
Yeah, I thought about it. They really could have done it like Lollapalooza and ran it back for like an entire weekend, because it really would take you 2 to 3 days.
You can't do it all in one sitting. So, yeah. But yeah, so how was your weekend, man? Besides Saturday,
I was vegetable on Sunday. I literally, we hung out. We said we have such a busy summer, Julie and I and the kids and everything else, that we had one Sunday where we really didn't have to do anything. We're like, let's just not leave the house, and we didn't leave the house. I barbecued. It was a nice, like, calm before the storm, because now going forward, we got tailgates, we got road trips, we got a lot of things that we're ramping up for. I needed that, like, do nothing Sunday.
Yeah. Speaking of do nothing, the Sox are doing nothing right now.
I know.
So I hope people have turned the game off and turned us on. Yeah. A
little split screen action. Put that game on mute and enjoy the dulcet tones of an HBIC.
Yeah. Quick super chat from Gordo. He says, cheers. Half of the bums bring Joey P on. Thank you, Gordo. Joey P is also unavailable today.
Unavailable. We're gonna talk to Jordan from Sox on 35th. They have a stable of people that they could go through. I think we're gonna have to be aggressive in the hiring search just so we can fill out the couple 2-3 shows we do a week.
Yeah, especially with Dougie potentially joining Garage Beer.
He's leaving us for Jason Kelsey from everything he's been hinting at. So that's gonna be something. We'll talk to Dougie in a little while. But yeah, so and unfortunately, we could have asked Aaron. The Johnny News was late. It was late.
He was a late minute. He was a late minute scratch.
Aaron says she quits. We do not accept your resignation, lady.
Yeah. Nope. Takes two to quit, and we don't allow you to quit. All right. Before we start talking some Sox with our guest Jordan Lazowski, I'm gonna do a live ad read. I don't do these very often.
Okay.
I don't do these very often, but this one's kind of big, right?
So, talk to me.
All right. Well, we gotta get the graphic up. Where the graphics at, man?
Oh, well, see, here we go. Now you're blaming me for it. We had talked about it. I'm gonna play their normal ad, and then we're gonna get to the big announcement from Windy City Sports Cards. So,
all right,
give me a second. The
BumCast is proudly sponsored by Windy City Sports Cards, who specializes in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports. Whether you are a diehard fan of the Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox, or Cubs, they have you covered with an extensive selection of sports memorabilia and collectibles. In addition to Chicago-focused items, they also offer a vast selection of sports trading cards and memorabilia from your favorite teams and players. So visit their online store at 312WindyCitySportsCards.com to find exactly what you are looking for to complete your collection or discover a new favorite. All right, now the live ad read, because Elite Icons Framing and Sports Memorabilia is proudly presenting a 2005 World Series reunion on Sunday, July 13th, beginning at 9 a.m. And they got some pretty good guys so far. Jermaine Dye, Pablo Zuna, Chris Widger, Chris Polite, Timo Perez, Dustin Hermanson, Brian Anderson, Luis Vizcaino, and the Truthosaurus himself, Carl Everett, will be there. And they just added AJ Przinsky, Polska himself, and Juan Uribe. It's going to be great. So make sure you head over to eliteicons.biz/shop to get your tickets. It is, like I said, you can pick up your tickets starting at 8 a.m. Autograph starting is at 9 a.m. And it is the Hyatt Regency McCormick Place, which is 2233 South Martin Luther King Drive in Chicago. So, yeah, get your tickets if you need some autographs from the 05 team.
All right. Of all the people they've announced, and they've been teasing. There's more announcements to be made. I saw Dougie commenting on Twitter about it. Of the announcements already, who are you most excited about?
I think if I'm doing this strategically, I'm going in, getting Juan Uribe's autograph and having him sign a Coke can.
Yes, that was gonna be my answer. I love all these guys, right? They're the reason that they brought me happiness for 1 year, and people would say lightning in a bottle, but it was beautiful lightning. It's got to be Juan Uribe, right? We talk about it all the time. I talk about it with our guy Clem from Barstool, Sons of Uribe. He's a Mets fan. I'm a Sox fan, but we got a kindred spirit with Juan Uribe and that Coke can of his. So yeah, that's my answer too. So if you guys can make it. It sounds like an awesome event if you're a collector and that into that sort of hobby. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And I think also I would probably get have Carl Everett sign a toy dinosaur.
I got a bunch. My son's got all those dinosaurs right now. I try to get him to sign a couple of those. That's a great answer.
All right. Before we bring in our guest, real quick, one more super chat from White Sox Dom. That's Throbia.
Oh yeah, Dom. Thank you. I've got a Ramova other half. We're going to talk about them in a little while, but these things have been going down smooth all weekend long.
All right, let's bring in our esteemed guest. He is from Sox on 35th, the one and only Jordan Lazowski, and here to talk tailgate and Sox. Jordan, welcome to the BumCast. Happy to have you join us
happy
tonight.
to be here. Thanks for letting me fill in for the other half of your crew. I know it seems like it was a long list to get down to me today, but
No, we would gladly bump those guys and girls for you, Jordan.
Nah, I'm only kidding. Trust me. But I appreciate you guys. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, so we're gonna, before we talk the White Sox and some misery, because it's still 8-0. Sunday is our big tailgate for Southpaw's 21st birthday, and we got some stuff that we dropped over the weekend. We got some news. Gordo is in the comments asking, what's the spread for Sunday? I'm happy you asked because we're going to get to that very shortly. But we've been working on this now for the better part of like 3 months. So we are 6 days away from probably the biggest party of the summer. Our boy, the fuzzy green dude, turned 21, and we're ready to party. So are you guys ready for tailgate, Jordan? Are you guys ready to get up? Just let it all out.
Absolutely. Party of the summer. Why not? Like you got to be ready for it. I think our crew's been really honing in on some certain social media aspects of it too, for some potential special guests we might have as part of it all. So we've been thinking a lot about that. And I know Joe Binder, who runs the page, is the owner of the page, but lives in Florida, is also going to be making an appearance. It truly is the party of the summer, because if you're going to get him up from Florida to come for this, it means a lot. So, I mean, if Joe's not going to miss, so why would you guys? That's my biggest pitch right now.
I love it. We got people coming in from all over. So Joe's coming in from Florida. We got our guy Jose and Taco coming in from Texas. People are literally coming from all over the country to go to this tailgate. Now, before we get to like all of the special things we got planned, stuff like that, we're pumped for it. But we're also, at this point, I would call ourselves veterans of the tailgate game. You know, we're there once a month, and we're kind of used to the ebbs and flows of everything. You guys, I feel like, you know, while you guys are covering the Sox all the time, it's hard for you guys to all get together, right? So I feel like Sox on 35th are going to go ham on Sunday, just because it's like you guys are a little bit younger than us. You guys don't see each other. Like I see Jason multiple times a week, you know? So it's like, you know, we hang out all the time.
Your dreams too.
I feel like it's just going to be like an explosion.
So the few times we've been able to do things as a crew, because you're right, we're younger, and kind of when we started this all, we were all still in college for the most part. Some of our folks might have been just about graduating high school. Like it has been some time since we've all started this, but also sort of the inner workings of it was I was in one place, Joe was in another, and it's just still been like that 8-9 years later. So long story short, the few times that we do get together, we've done like a boat. We've rented out a boat as a crew. We've done like sweet stuff like that. Like we like to have a good time. Don't let anybody kid you. I know Duke's coming down from Wisconsin as well, and he's a very if there's one person who's usually pretty popular at the tailgate scenes, it's been Duke from our side. So
yeah,
he'll be down. Everyone's coming out. But yeah, we're like you said, we're a younger crew. We like to have a good time. I regret that we don't get to show that off more often. I think that's one thing we've talked about a ton. But at the same time, we make those moments count. And
yes,
this is certainly going to be one of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Duke's been around the tailgates, and also Brett. You know, we see Brett all the time. But yeah, I'm excited to meet like the extended crew from Sox on 35th. So that's going to be awesome.
Yep. So let's get to some nuts and bolts of what we got going on. So first, people who are showing up, we got these sweet koozies that you guys designed here, and yeah, I drank with Southpaw on his 21st birthday, and Southpaw's birthday was my favorite blackout game. Those are going to be, we already got people like DMing us and texting us like, save me koozie. We got 300, right? Right. We're almost like, we have like, I don't want to say the exact number, but it's a lot of RSVPs where we actually might run out of koozies by the end of the tailgate. So yeah, I feel like these are going to be like hot off the press. You guys did a great job with this.
No, I'm going to give all the credit to Bustin, who has been our designer for years. This was no problem for him. The blackout game one was the funniest one. I'm glad that was one that we ended up going with, because that's the one. Like, yeah, you got to have the typical like I drank with Southpaw on his birthday, but the funny saying about it is kind of my favorite part of that one.
Yeah, the blackout game one is awesome. They're both great, and you guys killed it, like you meant. Like Jason,
I appreciate
it. When you guys originally sent like the concept art for it, there were like 5 that like I think 5 or 6 that you guys had. Was there one that like didn't make it that you were like, oh man, maybe we should have done that one? Are you pretty happy with the result?
No, honestly, I'm pretty happy with the result of these. Like the one I was like, I hope we do it. I don't know if we would, but I hope we do it, was the blackout game one. Yeah, that was the one where I'm like, if I could make X amount of these, like I would make them all that at the very least. Yeah, but we got a good mix. Yeah, there were 5 or 6, but I'll tell you what, the one that stuck out to that blackout game one. Like for as good as all the other ones were, that was my favorite one by far.
Jason, you mentioned like, you know, there's a good amount of RSVPs, and you know, there's only 300 of them, and like you mentioned, people are already asking like, save me 1, save me 2. I would say if you're going to the tailgate, show up early, because they are going to sell. They're going to be gone. They're just we can't hold much of anything.
Nope. All right, so we got that to give away to people, but we have to also encompass the drinking games, right? 21st birthday. So what do we got? We got a couple of great things. Get the next slide, Peter. Oh, look at that sweet ass beer pong table, custom designed for Southpaw's 21st birthday. When I first saw the original design that came back from that, my initial thought was, shit, we need more of these, because there's going to be such a queue to play on this thing that we need like 5 more of these tables.
I would just print one of these and take it home. Like, if someone can get me the design, I will make my own table with this on it. That is how cool. Like, this ended up, we all had expectations like, oh, it'll look cool, stuff like that. I think this blew away whatever expectations I had for it. And just, like you said, when I saw the design for the first time, I'm like, that's incredible.
Yeah, Jason, you mentioned, I think we're gonna have to like have a schedule, and like people write their teams, write their names, and like just keep them at a strict schedule, because everyone's gonna want to play out of it. I had the tweet out there. You know, it would be good to christen it maybe a little Bums versus Sox on 35th flip.
That's a good idea.
If you maybe grab your best 6, I know I joke that you guys got a 40-man roster, but you know, grab your best 6 or 8, and then maybe we do a quick Bums versus Sox on 35th matchup.
Oh, I'm all in for that. We don't worry, we'll find our 6. Like there are a few of us. I know Brett's one of them. Who's like just out of grad school. Like he's still in party mode. There are still some. We got some grizzled vets among us, but we still got some youth.
I'm a flip cup. I'm a flip cup. Grizzled vet myself because it's all in the fingers, right?
Exactly.
Gotta have a little firm but gentle. Firm but gentle.
What worries me, Jay, we talk a big game, and while we do, partake in a tailgate or two, it's been a while since we've been on the drinking game scene. And we were back in our day, flip cup, beer pong, a couple other games we're going to talk to later on with Dougie Fresh. But it's been a while. Is it like riding a bike? You think it's going to be like riding a bike, or there's going to be some rust we got to knock out?
I think once you get that first flip going, you'll be fine. Once you get into the motion, it is like riding a bike. It's all about the right amount of pressure.
Okay, all right. I might have like almost like a golfer with a couple practice swings. I'm gonna have to have a couple practice flips.
Yeah. And then so the only thing I'm worried about is that someone's gonna go Buffalo like Bills Mafia style on this thing. Like, do we have Southpaw? Jump through the table, Bills Mafia style, like Sox Mafia style. It's
Southpaw's birthday. If anyone's gonna break that table, it's Southpaw. He can do what he wants. It's his birthday. He can do what he wants. If some knucklehead, I don't know who, goes through the table, I'm gonna be mad because there's been talks where like I don't know we've talking behind the scenes are like, do you think the Sox are gonna keep it, or like we split it, or like we put it somewhere? Like who's gonna actually keep the table? And I'm like, if it's getting broken, it's only by Southpaw. Otherwise, there's going to be problems in Lot B.
I hope they let you guys keep the table at the end of the day, honestly, because with the amount of tailgates you guys are doing every year, like this deserves to be seen more than just once. I truly hope that no one smashes it Bills Mafia style either.
Well, one of my notes, because you had mentioned like you would print it out yourself and make them, like Brooks Boy or Mike Downey, if you guys are listening, like this is an easy moneymaker. You sell these, just our crew would probably buy 5, 6, or 7 of them.
100%. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. Peter, I think you're right though. We need a big giant like dry erase board, side up sheet.
Or even if somebody wants to make like a tournament, like a mini quick tournament, stuff like that. The whole point of it is like, I hope a lot of people enjoy it. A lot of people have fun with it, and get your pictures out, post them on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Because I mean, the Sox went through the trouble to making this. You gotta blast it out there.
Yeah, and we got green cups, green balls, ping pong balls.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We'll be great with that. And then that's another great design.
We're going backwards.
We also got a beer funnel, beer bong. There we go. There's it. So
I think so stupid, but it's so awesome.
Now, I was gonna say the only thing I'm disappointed out is that our expert chugger Dougie Fresh will not be in attendance on Sunday, so he cannot challenge and decimate people left and right in chugging. He said he's got a sub 3. He said he can do this in 2. He says like 2.5 seconds. He can funnel it.
Insane. I believe it, but insane.
Yeah.
You won't find me breaking any of those records anytime soon. Maybe Duke could run up a decent one, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving our page enough credit, but
yeah. Who would you think? Maybe Duke is the guy
I'd nominate Duke.
Brett,
yeah.
maybe?
I'll keep saying Brett just because he's the closest to, I guess, college age, and that's not a bad guess. So,
but yeah, we're hoping Southpaw and friends get to enjoy those festivities as well, because we gotta get. You think, like, I saw the tweet out there, like Southpaw's first drink once turning 21. Are we going straight Malort to start out with?
Straight Malort.
Yeah,
it's gotta be Malort.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, so people are asking, like Gordo said in the comments, what's the food? So here we go. Everyone wants to know. So I mentioned in our tweet, we're having a Bloody Mary bar. We're having a mimosa bar. So it'll be, sir, make your own. And when I say Bloody Mary bar, it's not going to be a crazy fixins, right? I'm not bringing the whole garden with to.
You're not grilling beer can chickens to put on the Bloody Marys?
No, it's going to be very stripped down, but there'll be you can throw hot sauce, Worcestershire, like all that stuff. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, so don't expect a million pieces of celery and Brussels sprouts and all that shit. So, but we are going to have a mimosa bar, orange juice, pineapple juice, some grapefruit juice. So whatever your fix is. But the food wise, we figured 21st birthday, right? Drinking, college, drunk food. What do you need? You need drunk breakfast food. So we're having White Castle breakfast sliders. We're having McDonald's. We're having Taco Bell breakfast. It's all going to be your favorite drunk breakfast food that just cures your hangover at 5 a.m, 6 a.m. But yes, there will be a spread of fast food there for everyone to partake in. So I think that's going to be a huge hit with the peoples.
Yeah, especially that early in the morning, like that's the way to do it.
And we've all made those less than desirable food choices at less than desirable hours when we're doing less than desirable amounts of drinking. So, it fits right into the whole theme. I think it's perfect.
Right.
Yep. And then also we're going to have Remova Other Half Brewing is going to be giving us some beers as well for the tailgate. So we want to thank Remova and Other Half for being so generous. So make sure you follow Other Half Brewing as well on their socials. But yeah, and then the big thing, we will have a cake for Southpaw to be singing happy birthday to him. There will be a cake. So make sure you stick around because the man himself, the man of the hour, will be appearing, and we all will be singing happy birthday to him. So make sure you do not. I know there's a bobblehead. It's a Ray Durham bobblehead day, but stick around to sing happy birthday to Southpaw. Then you can go get your bobblehead. Can't miss singing happy birthday to our dude.
Yeah, and our guy, My Sock Summer, will be there. So if you did miss the bobblehead, you can just grab one from him. He'll probably have 40.
Was literally just gonna say that. I was like, there's gonna be somebody who has 50 of them. Don't worry about it. Don't miss the tailgate.
Yeah. I unfortunately will probably miss the bobblehead because we will be busy cleaning up and everything like that. So hopefully I probably will have to hit up My Sock Summer for a bobblehead. And
all right. So I didn't have this question planned out, but now that we've talked about the giveaway and it is a Ray Durham bobblehead and stuff like that, we said the marketing team for the White Sox kills the giveaways, the jerseys, the hats, all of that stuff. I know there's a Ken Griffey one later in the year, but Ray Durham, I think when they announced that we did our special with like all the things and stuff like that, and we're like, he was really good for a while, but is he bobblehead worthy, Jordan?
They've made a couple of those questionable decisions this season. I think for as fun as the Ken Griffey Jr. one is too, it's like you're alluding to, that's a questionable one too. I don't know. I guess if you're celebrating the full, recent history of the team, I guess there are moments for each of those guys. That being said, being bobblehead worthy is an interesting phrase. So I don't know. I'm going to make fun of the 108ers here too. If they can get a bobblehead, I guess we just give anybody bobbleheads.
There you go. That's
I hope they're listening to hear that because you kind of teed me up for that one as I started rambling on. But yeah, I don't know. I toe the line with that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I can't decide. My head goes no though. Yeah. I get those who will enjoy having it.
We said no as well, but then there was people in the comments. I remember at that time, I think Brian S was in the comments, maybe Yumper saying like he was, at the time there were some bad teams, but he was really, really good. And I'm like, that was right on the cusp of me remembering, like getting into baseball when I was a kid. No, I was grown enough, but like Griffey for sure not. We all agreed like that was a questionable decision.
That's a cash grab.
You're right.
For his
I want it. Don't get me wrong. I want it.
2.5 months in the Sox uniform. Same thing. If you give a Manny Ramirez bobblehead, I'm just going to be like, what are we doing here?
Exactly. So I don't know. Again, there's a certain group of individuals who's going to really love it, really appreciate it, but I don't know how many. It looks like someone in the comments said 7,500 being given away. So it's not like your typical 15,000 or
Right,
something
yeah.
like that, where it's like they know everybody's going to want this. They're probably appealing to a certain group, and I guess that's okay too. At the end of the day, if you're really just celebrating the 125-year history of the team, I guess it's nice to have that little part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, people in the comments are defending Ray Durham, and rightfully so.
Yeah, good. I liked him when he was on the Sox. All right, let's talk a little Sox. So, last thing about the tailgate. Again, 10 a.m. Lot B. On our Twitter page, there's the RSVP form if you haven't already. Thanks to everyone who already has. Make sure you RSVP just so we have an accurate amount for food and all that stuff. And get there early if you can. We will be there early setting up, and it's going to be a great time. So thanks to everyone. So, all right. Bad weekend for the Sox. Baltimore, gang swept. They did not look good at all. Figured maybe there'd be some competitive. Maybe they take one from Baltimore, but just whole lot of suck. I unfortunately didn't get to watch much of the game. My antenna decided that it's just gonna.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had to do a whole like repositioning, moving the thing around and cabling and
damn.
Yeah, it just decided it was going to stop sending the signal for like 3 days, and no matter how many times I rescanned it, just wasn't showing up. But I got it now. It's in a brand new spot, and I turned it on just for them to get their ass kicked. But anyways,
10-0.
The things we got to do to watch baseball games in 2025.
Yeah,
crazy, right?
But yeah, so not a good thing. I think one of the biggest takeaways from the weekend was the Coby Mayo bullshit with the benches clearing, which I think was probably one of the most anticlimactic bench clearing brawls in recent memory.
They are all like that.
But we'll start with our guest, Jordan. Thoughts on Sox in Baltimore this weekend?
Oh, the fight thing, it is just two dog shit teams just trying to fight for something, anything. It doesn't hit the same when you're both like 25 games under 500 and just scraping by. I think the tail of it too, what were the games like 2-1, 4-2, 3-2, something like that, like low scoring affairs to where it gets back to what I think we've talked about a lot this year. Like the offense is by far the weak link of this team.
Yeah.
The pitching staff will have its ups and downs. When you have your ups like they're going through, you have to be able to capitalize on those because it's going to quickly turn around, just like today with Detroit. Like they're going to have days like this too, and you're going to lose these games, and it's baseball. It's going to happen. But when you keep it close, when you're within 1-2 runs, you got to win those games if you're trying to be a little bit more competitive this year. And like I said, I've said this before. I say that as someone who might have taken the over at 49.5 games. So when you got those close ones, you gotta get them. So.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend was ripe for the taking, like you mentioned, right? The pitching pitched well enough to win at least one, if not two. I think 9 earned runs the entire weekend, and you couldn't get one win out of those. Right. And it goes back to, like you mentioned, the batting and the runners in scoring position. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but like at any point when like there's like, we're just asking for a little bit of timely hitting, and I feel like it will come. One of my questions for you, Jordan, was going to be, because we've talked about this almost ad nauseum at this point, like because we're trying to look at the bright side, we're trying to look at the positives, and there are mostly the young guys. There are some positives, but like if you just compare the records and some of the stats from last year to this year, it's almost like a mirror image. But the eye test is telling me something different. I feel like this has been a much more enjoyable season to watch, and at least that's me, like glass half full. Do you see it the same way, or is it just like another bad season?
No, I do, because it's guys that you at least are interested in seeing for the future. Miguel Vargas having some good stretches here and there. Chase Mydroth is someone you can watch. Edgar Caro, it's a young pitching staff, things like that. I mean, the last couple of years when this has just been bad has been the last years of Tim Anderson scraping by and Yohan Moncada scraping by and still having to deal with Andrew Vaughn, things like that. Still dealing with him, but regardless. You were just seeing the end of a bygone era and getting the same results. It's fine getting these results when you know it's a young team that you're kind of pinning some hopes on. but not all the pieces are in place. It's different when they suck because it's the last leg of a first wave of this that just didn't work. So the records are the same. I keep saying, well, there's not going to be a 21 game losing streak, but now they're on 4 or 5, so they're getting closer to being.
It's going to be 4. It's going to be 4.
So it's going to be 4, but at the same time, it's like, they're going to get somewhere. I think at some point this season, maybe when Colson Montgomery finds a way to be pulled up, Kyle Thiel potentially gets there. Doubtful much changes on the pitching staff side, but maybe. So I don't know. It's long story short, it's different for me, even though the record's the same because of who's contributing to it.
Yeah, no, it seem different though. But I'm watching the game, and I did catch a little bit on Friday, and just we had that game right, and then you have a fucking just stupid ass base running error, and then you get Palacios just again. What do we do? This I don't know why he hits a home run at one time and he buys himself another couple weeks, but he provides nothing for this team. There's other options that we could be giving a shot to right now. So I think they got to fix some of those mental errors that they've been making on the base path, because they're shooting themselves in the foot. And we say this so many times, like going back to the last rebuild of how this team, they don't play fundamentals well. They have fucking bad base running. They can't bunt. And while I feel like they cleaned up a little bit of that, you still see those young mental errors that you just can't have going over and over again. Like you saw it last week with Carroll, like with the bad plays. So hope, but also a lot of just same old for the Sox. And I hopefully eventually they clean that shit up.
Right. Especially when you're playing 3-2, 4-2, 2-1 ball games. Like those matter. Those matter way more than it seems, maybe even in the moment or in the grand scheme of things at the end of the day. It's like, well, they only scored 1 run, but it's like, okay, what happened as part of leading into just scoring that 1 run? And those sorts of mistakes that you're mentioning play a big part in it. So, yeah, the mental mistakes are frustrating. They're young guys, so I get it, but at a certain point, you got to clean that up if these guys are going to be the ones you want to at least plug and play in lineups moving forward.
Yeah, and a lot of that, like, I agree with you, Jay. Like, there's been some times this season, or a lot of times this season, where the base running is like, whoa, they're like, just like your brain farts. And then there's other times where, like, you kind of almost don't blame the players. I'm blaming the front office and the people in charge, because, like, you're playing a first baseman out of position, or you're playing someone that's not a first baseman as a first baseman. So when when he thinks he's stepping on a bag and you're 4 feet like in front of it, it's like, yeah, you get mad at the player, but I'm like, what did you expect, right?
Yeah. So let's transition a little bit, because speaking of getting mad at a player, Luis Robert. I mean, he's been. I was watching the game a little bit before, and Steve Stone, made a comment about him being in a slump and being in like a down, and it's like, well, you can't really be in a slump if you were up to begin with. When was he ever up? Like, right. He's been in the season long. You can't slump if you're been in the mud the whole time. So, how do we fix Luis Robert? Because I saw an interesting thing from Josh Nelson, that someone asked if they can send him down to AAA, and you can't, because he's got 5 years service time, and you have to give him permission, which that could open up. Well, maybe he wants to get put on waivers, or and then that opens up the floodgates. But so Charlotte aside, how do we fix him? Do we just give him extra days off, or what's the fix here?
It's a hard question. Everyone's got their own diagnosis, and I've got my own personal one. And there's been a lot of talk about maybe like paralysis through analysis, or whatever the phrase is like that. And I think that's probably the closest argument to it. And I'm going to make a little bit of a nerd argument here, so I apologize to those who are like, I hate this guy and his numbers in the first place. I'm still around. So the long and short of, and people talk about like, where's he making contact? Like, where's he in the box? Like the whole leg kick thing. I think those are all symptoms of a larger problem, which is just swing decisions in general. So the team has done, and he's done a great job kind of swinging on pitches out of the zone. He's decreased that a ton. That on paper makes sense. He's swinging less in the zone, though, at the same time. And where that's showing itself the most is what's Baseball Savant will call the shadow zone. So the pitch is right on the edge of the zone that kind of strikes, sometimes not, right on the black, those types of pitches. Years past, when he's been good, 2021, 2023, his two best seasons, inarguably, swinging at those sorts of pitches on the corners of the zone 65, 70% of the time, and doing a ton of damage while doing that. This year, only swinging about half the time and batting $165. Where does that all come into play with swing decisions? Those are the hardest pitches to judge. Are those going to fall off the zone? Are they going to stay in the zone? He is likely just taking a lot more of those pitches and getting some walks because of it. But at the same time, when he does swing, there's a tentative nature to it that I think a lot of fans have pointed out that is manifesting itself, and that's where you see most of the pitches. Like, yeah, the ones in the middle of the plate, you do damage. The ones way out of the zone, you spit on. Cool. That's easy baseball. Good versus bad hitters are those 50% pitches that sometimes are strikes, sometimes aren't. How do you fix them? The long and short of it is maybe it is paralysis by analysis, and you have to go back to just swinging all the time. Maybe it's just you. Like, I have long been a proponent of he's got to have better swing decisions. He's got to take more walks, things like that. Maybe it's just not something that works for him. He's tried it, and he's accomplishing the goal of walking more, but it's clearly affected his offense. And that's a long-winded answer, but it simply comes down to maybe it's getting back to what he does well. And I don't know if the answer is just, oh, he'll mash on another team. I don't know. Is a team like the Dodgers, who prides themselves on swing decisions, going to turn around and say, oh yeah, don't worry, like, just swing all the time now? Maybe. I don't know. But I don't think it's an easy answer at this point, because now you've completely changed how a guy's looking at things. I'm not sure.
This is why I love having someone like Jordan Lazowski on. That was a fantastic way to say swing decisions, and that was an awesome breakdown. My first note when we had this idea of, like, how do we fix Luis Robert, is exactly what Sam Reeves said. He's got to get fat. We got to get back to the Domino's aspect of him eating Domino's 3-4 times a week. My thought was because, and we see it, right? The eye test is there. I saw Beef Lowe's talked about it. Josh Nelson talked about it. White Sox Davis talked about it. Like, from everyone, like, reading the tea leaves, he hasn't quit. Right, because he's still stealing bases. His defense is still awesome. Like, he is still putting in the work. He's still in great shape. Everything is still there. But the batting, which is a very important part of it, is just somehow missing. I thought, just let him get fat. Don't put him in center field. Don't worry about the defense. Stop stealing bases. They're not going to matter this year anyway. Just start smashing home runs. And this is a meathead answer, and I understand it's a meathead answer. But the last time I really gave an F about Luis Robert, Jason, we did a Monday BumCast. He was in the home run derby, just mashing home runs in Seattle. And I was like, that was the last time I had fun watching the White Sox. It was a home run derby. It wasn't even a game. But Luis was hitting bombs. And I'm like, give me that. I don't care if you strike out a million times. Get fat and just start swinging at everything and start mashing, baby.
Do you think him being in the home run derby fucked his swing up? Because a lot of people say that'll happen.
I think we're too far gone from that.
Yeah.
I like your theory of let's get him fat, but then he's gonna have all the soft tissue injuries again. So he'll be hitting, but then he'll be on the DL for a month after tearing his groin or pulling some fat in his calf or something like he always does.
Well, I heard Josh Nelson and people talk about the phantom IL stint, and maybe that's something he needs to kind of get his mound right. Well, if you're gonna go on the IL, might as well pull some fat.
Might as well actually earn the IL stint.
Right.
Yeah. I like, it was a couple weeks ago when he said that about the trade talk and everything, that he said, like, well, I don't think I've deserved it to, done enough to justify getting traded. And yeah, there's, the times when he was hitting, he was always injured. And now that he's relatively healthy, knock on wood, he's not hitting. So Sox are in this perpetual, like, rocking a hard place scenario with him. And what's he got left in his contract? 2 years?
So they're both option years at $20 million each year.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think there's no justification for picking up those options after this season. And you're not going to be getting anything back unless he goes on a complete heater, like the next, 4 or 5 weeks. You're not going to get any decent prospect back for him. You're not going to get a top tier prospect. Maybe you got some, cockeyed GM who thinks he can change, like his hitting coach thinks I can change his swing if I just, angle, stance, whatever. But also, I'm kind of in my head thinking, how much does he actually want to self-improve? How much does he want to make those changes to correct and get better? He's got his bag, right? So does he really care at this point? I feel like he's going down that Eloy route where he just doesn't care anymore.
I don't know. When you say he got his bag, he got a bag, but now we're talking to potential, right? You see everyone getting these gigantic contracts. That's long gone for Luis, but he can play himself back into something bigger. Like you mentioned, Jay, we've been ragging on him for the better part of a year now, like all of last season, not now all of this season. I thought his interviews have been pretty candid and he's been pretty honest. So that's something I kind of just want to give him credit for is he mentioned he hasn't earned, not even like a reason to get traded. Not a lot of people say that. And so he's aware, he's self-aware. He knows that he's struggling. He knows that he has to figure it out. It's just not happening for him. And it's weird because now, we got all these new guys coaching wise, and you see something like, is there a way these guys can figure him out? And I think they're just running out of time.
Yeah. They got a month of time, month and a half, maybe at the very most. It's the fear that I think we all had at a certain point when we started seeing things going downhill 2023 and especially 2024. You should have traded him then. Yeah. There was still hope that it's just an early season slump, go fix some stuff like that. You're too far gone at this point to make that argument. And at the same time, I think there's an argument to be said that's if you couldn't handle the comment you just pulled up, there's a mental aspect to it. There was this change that was made that, yes, you are more intentional about the pitches you are swinging at. But if you're just not mentally strong enough to understand how pitchers are going to attack you and which pitches are going to be strikes, which aren't going to be, there's a mental aspect to this. And if you can't handle it, that's why I don't think it's as easy as just, another team will fix them. Because there's a mental element to getting back to it. You don't just tell a guy, go swing all the time. It's fine. Swing at everything. That's no Major League Baseball team's telling you that. There's a mental aspect that's unfortunate where I'm it might be too far gone. And that you're begging for a heater at this point to salvage something, in my opinion, which sucks because I didn't want them to get here with him, and now they have.
Yep. All right. Before we get to our FAR report, there's one more topic I want to talk about, and that is, who do you think is going to be the next guy that's going to be traded? Is it going to be Tauchman? Is it going to be Adrian Hauser, who's pitched well the fast his 3 starts? Davis Martin. Who's the next guy who's going to get moved to clear room for the guys coming up?
I know it gets some shit when it's mentioned on Twitter, but I think Davis Martin gets moved. Teams aren't going to be his Sterling ERA and ignore all the lack of strikeouts and things like that. But he's 28. By the time this team's good again, he's 31, probably. He doesn't fit. I love him. He's one of my favorite pitchers on this team. I don't think he fits here. And I think if you can sell him as a 4 or 5 guy to someone else, he's probably the next one that gets moved. The only world where I don't see that happening is if Cannon can't seem to turn it around. Because you need, you can pencil Shane Smith in moving forward, I think. You need either Burke or Cannon or Martin. One of those 3 guys to figure it out. I think Burke's not going to, just personal opinion, and as much as I like him, and I've never been high on Cannon. So one of these three got to figure it out. If they really don't think Cannon and Burke are going to figure it out, then they'll keep Martin. But my, I guess, semi-hot take that's not original by any means, but just because of how much shit it gets on Twitter, I think Martin's the next one moved. And then Hauser closer to the deadline. And then maybe Tauchman as well.
Yeah, that was... Tauchman stands out because he's got some pop, and it seems like he's gangbusters on playing some defense. He's, crashing in the walls and doing as much as he can, even though, he's had he feels like a crash test dummy. And a lot of it's bad luck, right? It was a hamstring, and then he re-aggravates it. So a lot of it is unlucky. But yeah, that's someone there where like you could hopefully get something for him, and then clear space for all these guys. We talk about Jason, a bunch of these quadruple A guys that maybe a Corey Jolks or something like that.
Yeah. Wait till we go to the farm report. There's some interesting numbers. Right. Yeah, I mean, like Tauchman batting like 360, after coming back up. He's been on a heater, so I think you try to see what his market is now while he's hot. I think as much as I heard people talking about Adrian Hauser, like I hopefully he stays hot with, the way he's been pitching over his last 3 starts. But I guess you're going to find some teams that need pitching. So I would say before Davis Martin that I think it's going to be Hauser, to tell you the truth.
Didn't they do something like that with someone a few years ago? Like went on a heater, kind of like what you're saying with Tauchman, like went on a heater. About 3 weeks into the season, they just traded him. I feel like they did that. Did they not? Who did they do it with?
Good question.
Good question. I don't know. But it feels like they did that fairly recently to where it's like...
I mean, it was Theis.
Something. Theis is a good example of it.
Theis overperformed, and I'm like, thank God, man. Get him out. Get somebody in.
We need a couple more back and look. But there was one guy past couple of years kind of did the same thing where it's like, just moved him. That was quick. All right, whatever. Cool. See you later. You're not part of the future. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, so let's get into this because we gotta do our farm report, and we're gonna play the graphic that everybody loves.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good old
brings a tear to my eye.
All right. So again, for our weekly farm report, it is performance from the last 7 days. It is not for the season long. So we're going to start with the biggest news story that's been happening this week. And I mentioned it last week. So first off, Kyle Thiel went 4 for 16 last week with 1 home run and 2 RBIs. But the bigger news was something I mentioned on the BumCast last week, Peter. And I said I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Thiel started fielding balls at first base in practice. And lo and behold, coming out a couple days ago, that he is now taking reps at first base.
I will say, you said I wouldn't be shocked if he's playing first base. Taking fielding practice and then doing it is 2 different things.
No, I did say not game set. I said in practice, like taking reps at first. So,
yeah. So you could Barry Horowitz yourself. I would do the same thing. Whenever we get to clip something and we're right, we got to clip it and prove people that every so often we get something right. But yeah, dude, obviously this is probably best case scenario for him if they're trying to clear up some of that logjam, whether it's catcher, first base, and everything else that just seems to be a mess right now. But the one thing I will say is it's something I'll go back to. Is just stop playing these people out of position. What is it with the White Sox? He's never been a first baseman. I saw that he played a little bit of outfield in college, and you do have to be athletic to play catcher. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. He was shockingly fast when I saw him in spring training, and he had an interview saying like, oh, I've got some wheels. And then we saw him in spring training. I'm like, holy cow, he really is fast. Very fast for a catcher. So does that translate to being able to field first base? Maybe, but it just goes back to why do we just keep doing this with people, with Sheets and Vaughn and now Thiel. And it's like, you just move them. And I get it, right? You try to get him some more at bats and some more playing time, especially if and when, he moves up. But it's like, man, can you just, feel the roster of people actually playing their position?
I guess the only silver lining is they're moving someone to first base this time instead of from first base.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is
the only silver lining in it. But I agree, and I think it'll be hard for them to manage two catchers between Caro and Thiel. Moving one of them to first base is a natural. I think nothing's natural, but it's a little bit more palatable, I guess is the word I'll use, than first baseman to right or shortstop to first base or second baseman to first base. It's a little bit more palatable. It makes a little bit more sense. It's been done.
Pitcher to right field.
Or pitcher to right. Like all the other things they've tried that never work. But
yeah. All right. So we had the comment from JT, bump Vaughn down to AAA. So what did Andrew Vaughn do this week? Well, he went tree 7 for 21 with a home run and 4 RBIs. So good for him. I guess that's better than what he did the first last week when he got sent down, but he only struck out 3 times, took a couple walks, but I'll take, like I said, I want to see him consistently hitting close to 400 before I feel confident that he can come back up to the roster and he's fixed whatever has been in his head. But progress for Andrew Vaughn this week. All right, no comments on Andrew Vaughn.
I was gonna let
I was letting you go. No, I was gonna say, I agree. You need to be hitting better than that. You're a big league ball player for the past 3-4 years, whatever. But also it's like, you got to see something different. If it's the same slow Andrew Vaughn swing and he's just beating up on 80 mile-an-hour fastballs, like, I don't really care all that much, to be honest with you. Like, I'd have to see something tangible change.
So my question would be, how long does he have to do this for?
A month.
Yeah, a month.
Okay.
Yeah. So now Tim Elko, again, another good week. I think he got the sent down blues because he went 4 for 2,200, only a solo home run. So not a good week. Another good week for Tim Elko. And I want the thing that kind of irked me about with him getting sent down is they do the emotional feel good call. You're getting called up to the bigs.
The videos.
Right? Yeah, and then they send them down. A week later.
It is, yeah.
Film that
10 days later. And I'm just like, I wonder if that just kind of like crushed him a little bit where he needs to get himself back up and built right again. But yeah, not a good couple weeks for Tim Elko.
It's hard too, because like you're talking about the mental aspect of the game. And it's a valid point. It's a valid concern that you get there, you get a little taste of you don't really perform well. In Elko's case, hit like a $180. And then you feel like, oh, maybe I can't do it. And you start thinking too many things. And all of a sudden you're back hitting 200 at the AAA level when you were hitting 350 a month ago. So hopefully it's something where it just gets back on track. I'm sure there will be other opportunities for him this season as well.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. All right. Colson Montgomery. Oh, guys. 0 for 10 for the week. And now he did take the pitch off the kneecap, but before
that was nasty.
Before he did, he went 0 for the week. Very, very bad after a promising last week for Colson Montgomery.
That's a shame. That I did not know it was that bad. Like I kind of have we have our minor league people, Michael and others who do a great job. So I kind of half pay attention to the minor league still. I did not know it was that bad. Maybe I should have reserved earlier comments about, oh yeah, Coastal will be up at some point this year.
I know that I noticed that when you said it and my ears perked up, but I didn't really say anything. But then I also didn't know it was 0 for 10. Everyone was all excited about them getting, Colson some time by himself, and
swing change and all that stuff.
And then, taking a fastball to the knee or a slider to the knee doesn't help either. But it sounded like it was just a bone bruise, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's walking off. Slap some mud on it. Take some
Robitussin. Maybe use that excuse to send them back to the personal training. And
hey, go head down to Arizona. Try this again, huh?
Just keep doing that every 2 weeks until he gets him right.
So there was one bright spot this week in Charlotte, and that's Beef Flow's shortstop, Jacob Amaya, 7 for 11 with 3 RBIs. So is it time for Amaya season again?
Yes.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired, man. Why must this happen to us consistently?
Yeah. All right. We got 2 more left here. Down in Birmingham now. As we mentioned, Hagen Smith and Grant Taylor are off doing other things at the moment. Grant Taylor bullpen, Hagen Smith on R&R. So Noah Schultz, he went 5 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run with 4 Ks. So very good start for Noah Schultz this week.
It's another 5 innings pitched. Remember, we had mentioned we were seeing a lot of the 3 innings pitch, a little 4 innings pitch, and we're like, when is he going to get to a little bit longer of an outing? And now that's back-to-back 5 inning pitch outings. That's what we want, baby. I'm all in. I'm all in on Noah Schultz, and I mean, it's hard not to be, right? We've been all in for a while.
Yep. And I'm gonna toot my own horn. We talk about calling the clippable moments. It must have been like early March, maybe, or late March, whatever. I was like, they are going to move Grant Taylor to the bullpen. Once I saw him performing in spring training, like they're going to move him to the bullpen, rush him up real fast, ruin being a top 100 prospect as a starter, and they've done it. So old habits die hard still with this team, unfortunately. But good to see these things from Schultz as well. I know it's been a priority to stretch him out a little bit more.
Yeah, I was actually really impressed with what Grant Taylor was doing as a starter, and I was like, oh man, maybe they got another guy that they like, a sneaky guy under the radar that they can bring up as, like an end of the rotation kind of guy. And yeah, they're like, our bullpen's so shitty, we'll just take anything that's good and let's, put him in the pen.
White Sox way.
White Sox way. All right, last one. Braden Montgomery, I think High A has figured him out. Another bad week. 1 for 21. No. Yeah. 1 for 21. 2 bad weeks in a row. He started off, got promoted, went hot. Let's hope that he doesn't get sent back down to low A, but I don't think that's going to happen. But he's got to figure it out quick, because that's 1 for 21 with his gifts. Not good.
I think someone mentioned it to one of the minor league prospect White Sox guys. I forgot who it was. Just getting super pull happy, that front hip just completely bailing out and missing everything on the outer half. I think that might be part of the struggles here. To your point, pitching gets harder as you go up the levels. They're going to figure you out quicker. So hopefully that's something they can, if that's part of the problem, hopefully they catch on rather quick within the organization and figure it out.
Yep. All right. So that is all right, and that wraps up our White Sox talk with our special guest, Jordan Lazowski. Before you go, please plug away for any and all.
Well, I appreciate you guys again. One thing, too, I've said it a couple times, like the future success of this tailgate is tremendously in part to you guys. Like your expertise, your knowledge, your guidance, your ability to pivot when things maybe don't go as planned has been incredible to learn from. I think, as you've mentioned, like, it's certainly not our area of expertise, is the tailgate scene. So you guys have been a pleasure to learn from, and just great dudes in general, just people we really enjoy working with. Thanks. As for the rest of this, thank you for having me on. Hopefully I didn't bore everybody too much. I think
get out of
with
here.
the Robert Jr. stuff, if you want my silly answer,
good analysis.
But if you want the silly answer, just put him on the LASIK plan. See what happens.
I saw that too.
See if Ronaldo Lopez can prescribe him a good LASIK doctor or something. But for myself, at JLazowski14 is my Twitter handle if you want more of that analysis. Sox on 35th is our Twitter and I believe Instagram handle as well. All of our guys do great work. It's a quite a large crew. That all have own, I guess, styles and things that they're focused on writing. Some more video based, some more podcast, some writing based. So make sure to check them all out. They're doing great work, and always want to thank Joe Binder too for keeping me around and keeping the lights on a lot of days, because he's a huge part of everything that we do, obviously. So always got to shout him out.
Oh yeah, we appreciate you as well. Now we're gonna go do the compliment off, because when this first got announced and everything, and we met you guys, like there was like a little bit of trepidation, right? Because we've never worked with anybody like this before.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a little bit with Josh and the 108 guys and stuff like that, but there's always like a little bit of trepidation. You guys have been awesome with the group chats, the ideas, the bouncing back and forth, the emails. Everything's been really cool, and I appreciate you guys and everyone on Stocks on 35th. So we want to thank you, because you guys are, you know, the bigger guys, the bigger accounts, and the bigger follows. We're just trying to swim our way up.
No, and the way you do it is a way that we have not previously, and that's just being in the ballpark, the ground game, things like that. And it's, from an outside perspective, very cool to see the way you guys have really built up. And I mean, we're seeing the RSVPs come in too. Like, people are excited for this, and it's a testament to the work you guys are doing as well. So I appreciate you guys as always.
As are you guys. So, all right, thank you so much, Jordan. We will see you on Sunday.
Thank you, gents.
Get your best six. We'll see you at the table.
Sounds good to me.
All right. That's Jordan Lazowski from Stocks on 35th, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. The original Chickies Beef is a proud sponsor of the BumCast. Have you tried Chickies breaded steak sandwich yet? A tender cut of ribeye, pounded out thin and coated in the most amazing breadcrumbs. Then they fry it up to perfection and top it off with ooey gooey melted mozzarella and a generous drizzle of marinara sauce. It's a flavor explosion in your mouth. Trust us, it takes your taste buds to a whole new level of amazing. Come by and give it a try. It's the original Chickies Beef. Dine in, carry out, drive through, and delivery. 4152 Roosevelt Road in Hillside. And tell them the Bum sent you. And now, live via satellite, is the one and only Dougie Fresh with the biggest flex background I've ever seen in my life. What a fucking asshole. Goodbye.
Yeah. Imagine that. He's been waiting for an hour. Get him out. We're so jealous of him. Just straight up jealousy. We can't even hide it.
Mahalo.
God. I'm gonna boot you just for that now.
Can I tell you, honestly, the best part of Hawaii, the White Sox games are over so much earlier in the day. I gotta tell you.
What time is it over there? Like,
it's 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock?
4 o'clock. Yeah, 4 o'clock. So little 5-hour time difference. So yeah, no lemon tree.
Dougie, that's funny. When Johnny put that in the comment, I mentioned to you, I was like, when you said you're gonna call in live from your hotel, I was like, dude, you gotta get a lemon tree in your background. You gotta find one. That would be hysterical.
That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut for the listeners
from 2 years ago. The first thing I was gonna say is, like, your background looks like the fake Teams Zoom call background that you get like on from people. Like, yes, I am not in the office. I am in a beach or something, like in the woods. You got the worst fake background I've ever seen, Dougie.
Well, you pay for the good backdrops. That's all you got to do. It's an upgrade. That's all.
Give us a sneak peek of the tan. You're looking a little cookie crisp tan.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you got how many days left? You still got another week, don't you?
14.
I got another 14 days. Yeah.
You're gonna come. You're gonna come back looking like Wani Ribe.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, dude, I am going to get a picture of this dude. There is a dude that is walking around the same resort as me, and this dude, you'll have to wait until you guys get the photo. This thing, he's one of the weirdest cats I've ever seen in my life. He sits down by the beach every day with a loaf of bread. He's eating like slices of bread. No idea why. In vitamin waters. So it's just a very weird situation, and this dude is been in the sun way too long. So
vitamin water and bread. That sounds like that could be a hangover cure, Dougie. Try it out.
Yeah. I don't know. He looks like he fell asleep outside for a month. Yeah, it's not good. Not good.
So, Dougie, have you woke up and given the people a show from the balcony and just put yourself out there in all your glory, bathrobe open?
Dude, I would, but there's nobody in the vicinity that would make me look big enough to even mention. So yeah, I'm not gonna embarrass myself. But yeah, no, it's been fun. Besides the time change, time change has crushed us. I've been up like every morning at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Same with Hunter Fresh, dude. We're getting crushed by the time change. So
you guys are in bed by like 7, 8.
Dude, I think most of the family's done by like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Yeah, and that's early for them. So, but yeah.
So before we get into our topic with you, how much Spam have you ate so far?
I've only had it a few times. So McDonald's does a breakfast Spam. They do a breakfast Spam with rice and eggs, and that's like their big breakfast plate, which is it's pretty decent. I have had some. I guess I don't even. You wouldn't call it sushi, but it's just basically like a better
Hawaiian,
the
Hawaiian sushi.
Yeah, I guess they kind of call it sashimi, but it's cooked, so I don't know why they call it sashimi.
Yeah,
so
I get you.
It's kind of weird, but it is absolutely everywhere. I mean, they dice it up and throw it in rice. They throw it in freaking everything, dude. It's like a big thing is like rice and Spam and pineapple.
Yeah, dole pineapple. I know this is a long ass time ago. I think I was like 10 or 11, but we went to Hawaii. We did the dole plantation thing, and like they got that dole ice cream thing everywhere.
Yeah, Dole
Whip. It's good.
Dole
Whip. Yeah, Dole Whip.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to the plantation Wednesday. So
bring me back some Dole Whip, please.
I will. I'll put it in a pocket for you. Today I'm little Kona. What is this? Kona
Blue Wave. Kona's a fairly popular beer, though, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but keep your eyes open. I have been banging through a bunch of beers. We're gonna have a whole bunch of shorts coming up, as well as I'm going to Waikiki Brewing tonight. So,
ooh,
yeah, we're gonna be doing some cool little one-off little videos soon. So,
very cool. All right, so you got beers. Obviously, you're gonna miss the tailgate, but one thing we wanted to talk about with Southpaw's 21st birthday is drinking games. Yeah. And we wanted to see what is your favorite drinking games as now when you were younger. So
one of my favorite games that I don't necessarily think I was really great at, but I loved playing was quarters. I used to love playing quarters, dude. Just bouncing quarters in the shot glasses. And I feel like there isn't as much of a risk of like ringers with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's a little bit more of a technique to whereas if you get yourself that you run up against a person that's really good at beer pong, you're screwed because they've got that MJ shot down and you're getting nailed on, whereas quarters, it's like, it's a bounce and, it's kind of more of an even playing field, I would say, but yeah.
All right. So, yeah, if you're in the comments, let us know your favorite drinking games. I think we're going to bounce through a couple of these. And it's always different because, like, people play things differently. And I think I was a big quarters guy for a little while. My buddy that went to Purdue, they played it over there. Okay. But I think quarters has a lot to do with the table you're playing on. Like, that's the most important thing. And you could say that about a bunch of different things, but especially in quarters, you got to have a good bounce to that table. If it's a dead table, people are going to struggle. When you play quarters, are you playing quarters where you're passing the shot glass and you're chasing, or is it a different version?
It was always like a one-on-one game, where it was like bounce and then go across bounce. We did four-way once. The one time that I didn't do the four-way, it was everybody at the same time. So you really had to pay attention to whose quarter went in. And also it didn't matter how accurate you were because like quarters flying in midair, like hit each other and bounce out, so it's kind of
gotcha.
Cool.
Yeah. One-on-one is always the thing. So what they did was like, you start with 2 glasses and it could be however many people. And if there's enough people, you add another glass and you're basically like playing snake until like one glass catches up with the last one. So that's a fun way to play with a group, but yeah, Jason, you fuck with quarters?
No, I don't know if you guys ever played it back in high school too, but like the quarters that I remember from like an earlier age pre-drinking was when you had to like spin it and you had to like kind of, if you guys ever had to tap it and keep it spinning.
Oh yeah. But we played that like in grade school, and then whoever didn't spin it, like you flick their knuckles with the quarter.
Yep.
It sounds like bloody knuckles.
Yeah. That's the quarters I remember from high school. But But no, I never really did quarters. To be honest, like I wasn't much of a drinking games kind of guy.
Okay.
But I was. But then once we started getting into like beer pong, flippy cup, like those, I was like, oh yeah, like I really like those. And I know, Peter, you're going to mention one that I really like, a version of Flip Cup.
Yeah, let's just get into it, because we've been talking about the tailgate. I'm going to show the table just because I kind of want to play this with the fancy Southpaw table. Where'd it go? Here we go. But this table, it's a good size table. It's a good way to play our version of Flippy Cup, which is not team based. It's 1-on-1. We call it Royal Rumble. So it could be 10 people. It could be 20 people. You all get your own cup. We all start at the same time. And then once the last person, like we all flip, and then the last person that doesn't flip gets eliminated, Royal Rumble style. And you just keep going until there's one man or woman standing. And it's just a fun way to involve a massive group of people. And it's also a really fast way to get really fucked up.
Yeah, because you take 15 people.
Yeah, if you're playing with 20 people, you're drinking 20 times before one round is over.
Shit.
Yeah, so you can either have one beer or you could have 20.
Yeah, exactly. There's some times where like that game keeps going. It's like you almost gotta like eliminate yourself, Santino Marella style, just for like self-preservation. But Royal Rumble is my favorite version of Flippy Cup, because we teased it last week and we were in the comments with the 108 guys in like our back channel chats and stuff like that. They were asking like which one of the bums is the best at drinking games. And my answer was always Julie. Julie loves Flippy Cup. She loves beer pong. And I was like, I love Flippy Cup too, but I've been accused of cheating so many times that like I got kicked out of the group. And I'm not going to say how I cheat because I'm probably going to do it on Sunday, but keep your eyes peeled. You can't even tell what I'm doing.
The Flip Club League has given him a lifetime ban.
I'm like Pete Rose of fucking Flip Cup.
Do you think beer pong eventually makes it to the Olympics?
All right. You know which one would probably make the Olympics? Because I've been seeing it everywhere and like on TV, and I got an alert. One of the bars we used to go to, Jason, Davern's Tavern, has like a 40-team bags cornhole tournament. Yeah. Like that shit's gonna make the Olympics. It might take 20 years, but that's gonna make the Olympics probably.
Yeah. I
don't think any of the drinking games will, but beer pong would be fun. Get your best 2-on-2. You could do co-ed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another fun game or whatever that I've recently just learned, like over the last year or two, that has been fun. And I think it's making some kind of like big headway now is like Beersby, like where you got the beer on the stick and you got to hit it with the Frisbee. That is fun. It's like a beach type setting though.
Julie's family, on her mom's side, she has a couple cousins that were like 10 years, 12 years younger than us. Mm-hmm. So like when we were in our 30s, they like had just turned 21. They were huge into Beersby. They set up like because they had a pool in their backyard. So like it is almost like a summertime game. You jump in the pool, then you go play some Beersby. And it's basically like a PVC pole with a solo cup on it, Jay. And you got to throw a Frisbee to knock it over. It's pretty fun, but that's like it's pretty niche, I guess.
I remember the first two drinking games you introduced me to when I first met you were Edward 40 Hands and Wizard Staff.
Yeah. See, this is all my buddy from Purdue. I mean, Rick, we all know him. That's all of those. Edward 40 Hands, Wizard Staff, where you just, finish your beer and then you tie it, and then whoever has like the biggest staff, you make rules that way. Those are all fun games. But those aren't necessarily tailgate drinking games, I mean, I guess we could Wizard Staff it. I don't know. We're going to drink responsibly with Ramova other half beers, but maybe one of these days, maybe we do a little quick Wizard Staff game just for old time's sakes.
Dougie would just slam like the fucking crate, the case right away, and then he'd be having a ladder to get up to his staff.
You know what? It would be too much like the like Praz and his snake or whatever that he likes to.
The cup snakes.
Wrigley.
Yeah, they're similar.
Well, real quick, I want to get to this comment from Jerry O'Sullivan. Any of you guys ever do the Century Club? And I'm not aware of this one. Do you guys know?
No, I Jerry, if you want to explain it in the comments, I'd be excited to listen to about it. But I have no idea what it is. I have no idea.
I thought it was just having fun with an old lady, but anyway.
One drinking game that we just all got introduced to last year when we went to go see Zane Lamprey at Noon Whistle was the Game of Death.
Oh yeah,
which is now become my new favorite drinking game. But you have to get like a dozen people to commit to actually playing this. Otherwise, it doesn't. You can't. This isn't one you can do with like 3-4 people. You need a group for this. But for those who never or are listening, the Game of Death is somebody shouts out a number, and then the person next to them, like everybody points to someone, and then you count and you follow the points, and then whoever it ends on after like 5, 6, 7, whatever your number is, that person's got to finish their drink. They got to chug it.
That game is so fun once everyone understands what's going on. The hardest part of that game is just explaining it, and it's simple to grasp, but explaining it. I think we tried to do it at Jack's place when we did one of our watch parties, and it's like it's very simple, but like you got to get people to commit to it, and that's the hardest part of it. Century Club is drinking 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes. We used to call that Power Hour, but we only did 60 minutes. Obviously, 100 minutes is way longer. But we would do Power Hour with shots of beer, and then you would make a playlist where each song would only last a minute. So then you just...
Dougie, do you think you can do this?
Yeah, I can do that. A 12-pack in a half hour? I did a 12-pack listening to Jordan Lazowski talk about fucking Luis Robert Jr.
I would love to see like Dougie's live stream of him doing that, just every minute. Beer. 100 minutes of...
Maybe we do that for one of our challenge days, or like one of our live streams where it's not. I wasn't gonna say the Bums Happy Hour, but like the White Castle challenge or one of my Edward 40 Hands challenge. Maybe we just do this for a live stream.
So I would have to know the rules though. Is it like you can only do one an hour or one a minute?
1 a minute, yeah, 1 a minute.
Okay, so like you can't go ahead of. So you gotta like literally.
Yeah, you gotta wait. Yeah, you gotta wait, and you all do it together.
That would be really hard, dude. That would be really hard.
You just don't want to wait?
Well, the waiting, but then also it's like you're going to have to piss at some point. And then to try and get that piss out in less than a minute, like, and get back to, or you take it with you, I guess.
Yeah, you take it with you. I think
you take it with you.
I think concessions could be made if if you got to pee, maybe you do 2 at a time or 3 at a time. We'll figure it out.
I'd be interested to give it a shot.
There's ways to figure it out. Circle of Death was one on my list. Julie and I used to play Circle of Death all the time. I think it was in the comments.
Sam Reeves.
Sam posted Circle of Death. Yeah, and that's another game that like everyone has different rules for like what the Queen does or what a Jack does or what an Ace does. But at the end of the day, that's always fun. You're stacking the cups into under that beer can and stuff like that. The one that we haven't played in forever, Jason, and probably for a good reason, but we used to play all the time. Drinking Jenga. Was fun as hell. We would take the blocks. We would all make our own rules and like different categories and different things. So each block had something, and then you just pull them out and play Drinking Jenga. That was fun. That was also a game of skill. You gotta, especially when you're drunk, you gotta figure your way out through some Jenga blocks.
Yeah, there was we would have like give 4 sips or take 2 sips or something like that.
Yeah,
or
you give them out seconds.
Finish your beer. So like take 10 and you could, or like give 10 and you could like split them up to the group. So you could do like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Then we had some like all the single people drink. The craziest one we used to do was the waterfall.
Yeah, waterfall is fun because if you got someone like Dougie, he's gonna mess somebody up. So you pick which way the waterfall is going. Everyone starts chugging, and and you can't stop until the person next to you stops. So like a waterfall or like a domino. People used to call it domino too. But if you got someone like Dougie, where there would be people with one beer and they wouldn't stop until they pulled another one, and like the people, like that's another way. Again, we haven't played any of these games in a good part of probably more than a decade.
Should we bring Jenga to the tailgate on Sunday?
Yes. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a drinking Jenga for Sunday.
Okay.
I'm gonna add fun like White Sox Twitter related rules to it.
I like this.
Yeah.
Does anyone have like the big Jenga blocks, or do we have to go with the small ones though?
I think you would have to. I mean, for saving room in our trunks, so that they're gonna be full of shit. I think we just go with the normal Jenga.
Okay. Yeah, I think like with the normal Jenga too, the blocks are much smoother and easier to
stack,
to push through and everything. When you got the big blocks, you know, those things get stuck like super easy, and then game's over quick.
All right, Jay. Expect a Jenga expense coming into the account.
It's fine.
You know, hey, we got to watch our funds, dude. You better buy that Jenga with the G. You know?
No. I used to have a couple of friends that used to get the blocks of wood. They used to call it blocks of wood. And I'm like, no, go get a real Jenga.
I have Jenga. I don't know if you remember, but in my old apartment, we didn't have Jenga. We had like the jumbling tower, I think it was called.
Another one. Yeah, jumbling tower. I'm like,
and you guys used to always give me shit. Like, I got this fucking knockoff, you know, like flea market Jenga. But we can't afford Jenga. Yeah, we can't afford Jenga in this apartment, man. We got jumbling tower.
Getting splinters from it.
Shit. Yeah, that was it. That was mine. I had beer pong, Circle of Death, Jenga, and Royal Rumble. We're gonna bring Jenga on Sunday. We're definitely gonna do Royal Rumble because that'll be fun. It's an easy way to get a lot of people involved. Yeah, and that's what we want to do for Southpaw. Maybe Southpaw gets in on some of these games.
Yeah, maybe he does. All right, with that, it's time to bum some people.
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum.
You call me a bum? My man, I take that with pride, with honor, that I'm a bum. I'm the king of the bums, baby.
Because you're training like a damn bum, you know that? Bum. A bum.
Well, let's get to our listener bums and MVBs. Not a lot this week, and I'm bumming all of our listeners for not submitting a whole bunch of bums and MVBs. So be better. Joey P, bum of the week. Caleb William haters. If I have to hear one more time that he didn't want to be drafted by the Bears, ... Yo, what? What, Joey P? You're going to what?
Joey P's getting a mean streak to him, and I kind of like it. Is that us corrupting him?
I think so. I think we
tequila. Does he get? Maybe he's a mean tequila drunk.
Maybe. MVB Sabor y Cultura.
Nailed it.
Events for an awesome time on Saturday. They treated the tequila bums very well. One thing I forgot to mention is that like I loved how people knew you and Joey P. You guys knew some of these influencers and everything. That was fun.
Yeah, I mentioned it. This was our first time, besides like White Sox Twitter, this is our first time doing something like networking for like the bums outside of our normal stuff. And I turned to you, Jason, and I think the next step is to do the exact same thing with whiskey community. So like we do our bourbon reviews, but like John, the Dram Daddy, who does bums in the bleachers for us, which is we appreciate. But like he's really good at like, you know, going to these whiskey events and meeting these people and brands and stuff. And this was our first time doing it, and I got a little taste, and I'm like, yeah, it was a good experience.
Yep. Hopefully some good stuff coming down the pipeline with that. Next up, we got Sydney, MVB's NBA and TNT for 44 years covering the NBA and the Inside the Crew. But God, I cannot wait for the dun 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 dun.
So yes, but NBA is going back to NBC, correct?
Yes.
But NBA on TNT is moving to ESPN, which I think is a problem. I almost wish they would have gone to NBC. I feel like NBC has a better pedigree of their studio shows. I feel like ESPN is just gonna ESPNify the NBA on TNT. I think it's gonna turn out horribly. So that's my prediction for the future.
All right, bookmark that.
Dude, I mean, you're not wrong, because hockey on ESPN is terrible. It's terrible. So
also, he's got Chuck Garfien as MVP for calling out Luis Robert on Saturday's postgame show to move him down the lineup. Yeah. And bum of the week. Also, Lou Bob, 0 for 10 in Baltimore series, 7 Ks and 3 walks. Bonus MVP. That was Dan Plesac for filling in for Steve Stone very nicely last week.
So I saw a lot of love for Dan Plesac, and they said, like, he did such a good job. It was a really enjoyable booth with our guy, John Schriffen. And now I kind of want to save it for next week, but I guess we should have done it now. Like, is the Stone Pony holding our guy back? Because I did notice it was a really good watch, if you will. The game stuck. They couldn't hit for shit in Baltimore. But Dan Plesac and John Schriffen had a little bit of a rapport, and I kind of enjoyed it. So while we do appreciate the Stone Pony, is he holding our guy Shrift Dog back?
Certainly sounds that way. And if I could do like a little play on words here, the horse is only as good as the jockey. So I like that, Dougie. His mind is firing now that it's 3 p.m. over there. I just haven't been sober in like 5 days.
Next up, Jeff Bartlett bum Coby Mayo for the horrible acting job on Saturday. If you're going to flop, at least go to LeBron James and learn how to do it right. That's right. That was he just got a little touched and went. MVP Ellie De La Cruz for dedicating his home run yesterday to his sister who passed away recently. Losing a sibling well before their time sucks big time. Yes. Next up, we got Mailman Jack, MVP Pride Month. I love it. I love that it brings so many people joy as well as it moves too many people to show their ridiculousness. Yeah, happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month out for everyone.
Hell yeah.
Mailman Jack, bum of the week, cottage cheese. Tried it. Sucks again. I'm with you, Jack. Out. Cottage cheese can just fuck off.
Yep. Out. Bum of the week consensus. Are you, Dougie, you fuck with cottage cheese?
Yeah, I fuck with cottage cheese.
Nah.
I mean, but no, let's put it this way. I don't like seek it. I don't like go out of my way, but like, yeah, I don't mind it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, let's put a pin in the Dodgers series in July. Let's kind of get it. I'll bring this topic back up about the Shrift Dog and Plesac maybe when we do the BumCast in July.
Yeah. And then let's get to a quick super chat from Jerry O'Sullivan. It says, here's to the Jenga fund. Thanks, Jerry.
See, Jenga. I'm gonna put one block specifically for Jerry O'Sullivan because he's the one that bought the Jenga.
It'll say, Jerry, drink your favorite Irish whiskey.
No. It'll say everyone cheers to Jerry O'Sullivan because
I like that.
Jenga. So we're gonna have one block. Cheers to Jerry O'Sullivan.
I like that.
And if anybody else wants to purchase a block, it'll be the right price of $9.99.
You know what? We got about 10 minutes left in the podcast. If you want to buy a block on the Jenga that's gonna be played this week, toss in a super chat. It could be of any value. I'll put your name on one block of the super chat. I know people are watching.
We're selling blocks like the White Sox selling bricks outside the stadium.
Yeah. You know what? And when we sell out of those blocks, I'm gonna make Jenga 2.0.
Fucking love it. Always hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
This tailgate's going to be expensive. What do you guys want?
Yeah. All right. Let's get to our bums and MVBs. We'll start off with you, Peter, because yours was mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it was Coby Mayo. Like a lot has been said about the White Sox and them going through the motions and stuff like that. But I do like when there's a little bit of a kerfuffle, a little bit of a bench clearing brawl. This Coby Mayo guy, soft. It sells. Hey, hold on, Joey P. The feds might be watching, dude. We can't be saying that. Shit.
Uh-oh. Yes. Here we go.
Yes. Now we're talking. I'm gonna have a down block.
White Sox down. Okay.
Hell yeah. You know what? But yeah, Coby Mayo, bum of the week. That was, and now I'm gonna piss down my own leg. I'm gonna make fun of soccer. It was very much a soccer flop. It was a LeBron flop. and he fake flopped, intentionally went after a guy, and then it got pissed off, and he was the first guy walking to the dugout. Like, that was a fucking bad look. And also, Coby Mayo sounds like a shitty sandwich or like just like parts of a sandwich. Like, what? I know, like, millennial or Gen Z or whatever the young, what are we
Gen
talking
Zs?
about? Yeah, Gen Z. Some of their names. Coby Mayo, come on. So yeah, he's my bum of the week. I like the White Sox sticking up for them. I thought maybe it was gonna galvanize them. They still sucked, so it didn't matter. So maybe bum of the week, the White Sox too.
Yeah.
And then my MVP is everyone donating to the Jenga fund.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go next. I actually have 2 MVBs, or I'm sorry, 2 bums. The first one is the Illinois General Assembly for deciding that they were going to tax wagers on online betting, and this is the dumbest fucking move I think they could possibly imagine, because I'm already going to lose my money. I don't need to give a tax portion to Illinois on my shitty bets. Okay, I'm like, that's me losing more of my money. So I'd rather them say, like, we're going to tax your winnings, because that's not going to happen very often where I'm going to get taxed. Mm-hmm. But taxing a wager, whether it's a couple pennies or a percentage of whatever your wager, it's a dumb move. There's going to get a lot of fucking blowback from residents of Illinois. And I think people are already, once they see like what actually goes through, I wouldn't be surprised if gambling in Illinois goes down again, and now you're getting back to bookies.
And now we're talking. So, yeah.
I'm with you 100%.
Let's go back.
I believe it was like 1 point or closer to $2 billion that the state made in gambling last year. I mean, just total kick in the teeth. But yes, you do get taxed on your winnings. You just got to get that 1099 form. But you got to win enough to
you got to win enough to do that.
Yeah. So
JT with a fantastic comment. Now I'm gonna have 9-game parlays just to save money on taxes. I'm a very much an anti-parlay person. Maybe you're right. I might have to start parlaying stuff.
Yeah. My second bum of the week is me. Because I was stupid enough to think that Starbucks new horchata iced latte
milk
was
you tried it?
I swapped out the oat milk for 2% milk, because fuck oat milk.
Okay.
Bum of the week me for thinking it was actually going to taste like horchata. I should have known that these white boys in running Starbucks know nothing about how good horchata can be. It tastes, what it basically was? It was a latte with cinnamon flavor in it. It was more of a fall drink than it was a summer drink. It's just basically cinnamon. It's like cinnamon in a fucking latte.
Damn,
so bum of the week me for thinking that was going to be good.
I'm glad you're saving me some money, because I'm a notorious nitro cold brew or black coffee with a shot of espresso. Those are my 2 Starbucks orders, like 360 days out of the year. And then for 1 year, I've done it 2 years in a row on Twitter. I ask for people's Starbucks orders, and then I try them and review them. I should probably compile them all into one video. But I was hoping that horchata drink was going to still, and it's seasonal. It was never going to make it to Christmas or around the time I do it. Yeah. But now you save me the money, because I was kind of intrigued, and I was like, man, maybe I'm not going to do my standard black coffee order. I was going to do the horchata, but you're right, dude. We should have known better than fucking Starbucks.
Yeah.
I mean, Peter, you're the dude that is constantly giving him shit about getting regular tacos at Taco Bell. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? You want to go to the whitest coffee place ever and think that they're going to nail something that like is of your heritage? Get the fuck out of here. Never a chance.
No, that's a good point. I will mention, so Johnny and Missy go to I think it's like Bridgeport Coffee House. There's a couple of coffee houses. They do an horchata latte that's supposed to be good, so I got to try that.
Yeah, I'll have to compare, because like I said, this was just basically like they put a cinnamon stick into your fucking latte and called it horchata, when it tasted more like just a fall drink that they do instead of that.
I would have never pegged like horchata as a summer drink. I would have thought fall.
Yeah, it definitely, I would consider it more of a fall because of the cinnamon.
Yeah,
and the spice and a little bit of the horchata. Yeah, Stockyard Coffee House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another bum of the week for Starbucks for doing the horchata with fucking oat milk. Get the fuck out of here with your fucking almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, real fucking milk. Come on.
How do you
or no milk? Yeah,
Yeah,
just drink your coffee black like a man.
Yeah.
like you take your men, black and strong.
Exactly.
And then my MVP is my lovely wife Sarah. Yesterday was officially 6 years of us together.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Happy anniversary! I didn't know that.
It was when we officially not our wedding anniversary, but us officially going out.
Oh, get out of here! We can't be doing me anniversaries or whatever. What is that?
Yes, we can.
No.
6 years together.
Once you're married, that all goes out the window.
Oh man, that's
Imagine,
like
me and Julie, like first time we went to the movies 22 years ago.
Dude, that's like when you get a dog. That gotcha day.
Yeah, the gotcha day. You're celebrating your gotcha day.
Celebrating gotcha day.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna congratulate Sarah. I'm not gonna congratulate you.
All right, Dougie, take us home from Hawaii via
Right.
satellite.
All right, via satellite. No delay, by the way. No.
Fantastic.
Buffer. So,
the power rankings. Honolulu internet way better than Telemundo internet.
Yeah, right. All right. So you know what? Since we are bumming Starbucks, I'm gonna go ahead and continue that trend.
Oh,
I am bumming Starbucks as well. Specifically the O'Hare Starbucks.
That's a great comment from
for people listening on the podcast. Tomorrow's the anniversary of the first time I farted in front of Missy. That's from Johnny.
Honestly, I wish I could have heard him say that today. Oh, you're getting dragged, Jay.
I don't care.
No, that was great. You know what? Sometimes you gotta take
funny.
one to be, sentimental. That you have to take it. You have to do that.
But yes, no. So the O'Hare Airport, specifically the Starbucks, they're selling Wisconsin mugs. They're selling Wisconsin mugs, and I know that's a huge thing with people with Starbucks and everything like that. They collect the state mugs and everything like that. I have no clue what they're doing, and they had more Wisconsin mugs than they had Chicago or Illinois mugs. So obviously, this has just got to be a cash grab at this point, and they're hoping that people are either passing in the airport or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but keep that Wisconsin shit up north. Keep it away from my airport, and like Starbucks, be better, because that's terrible. That's terrible. And if you collect those mugs, it's kind of a weird hobby anyway. So I'll bum you too.
Oh shit! Hold on a second. Now I'm gonna get rid of him from Hawaii because I got a couple of those mugs. I got the one from Jalisco because I was like at a Starbucks in Mexico, and I'm like, I'm gonna bring it back.
And you're going to a place that has excellent coffee beans, and you're getting Starbucks. Should drop you off the show.
I was in the airport. You know what?
All right.
You know what? I'm
fair. I'm leaving.
All right.
We might set a record for most drops ever. But all right. So my last MVP got to go out to my wife. She's the reason we're here. 40th birthday yesterday. And it's been a phenomenal ride between me and her. We've been together for a very, very long time, and she's the cornerstone of the family. She does so much more than I could ever do. She's one of the strongest people I know, and love her with all my heart. So happy 40th birthday, Mary. I love you.
Happy birthday, Mary.
Happy birthday, Mary.
Also, I'm not gonna not MVP Julie if you did Sarah and you did Mary. How does that gonna make me look? I did it last week, but I'm gonna do it again. Julie, if you're watching, MVP.
And then last super chat for the night.
Hell
Jenga
yeah.
Block.
Oh,
Gordo, thank you, sir. Thank you.
I might toss 2 Jenga blocks for Gordo, but that wouldn't be fair to Dom and Jerry O'Sullivan. So
yeah,
you get one.
All right, that's our show. One quick programming note: I will be appearing on the Locked On Sox podcast for Wednesday. Talking some more Sox and some tailgate as well. So catch me on that. Other than that, catch all of us Sunday, Lap B, 10 a.m. Southpaw's 21st birthday. I say it every time. It's going to be a shit show. And this is probably the epitome of it. So us, Sox on 35th, and everyone from White Sox Twitter, White Sox community, cheer fandom, we're all going to be there celebrating, having a great time. So thanks to everyone who liked, commented, super chatted, participated. We appreciate you all. Thanks to our special guest, Jordan Lazowski from Sox on 35th for popping in, talking some Sox with us. And thank you for Dougie Fresh for videoing in via satellite.
Hell yeah. No days off.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Have a great week. See you Sunday.